gentlemen, looks like we're at 2:30, which is our appointed time, so I will now call the monthly meeting of the Ames Community College Board of Trustees to order. And how about if we all stand and salute the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're really honored today to have some of our foundation board members here joining us. And we've had a wonderful session to talk about how the foundation and the board can work together and do more great things than what's been going on now. And we are just, I think I can say on behalf of the board, we're just really, really pleased with what the foundation is doing. So if you wouldn't mind, how about if you all take a moment and introduce yourselves. Ned, do you want to start? Ned's the chair of the foundation board, so.
So my name's Ned Chapin, and I'm the president of the board of directors for the foundation. Like Ray said, we had a great meeting just an hour ago, and the foundation was able to update the trustees on all the great work that Kelly's doing and how we as a board are supporting them.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Carol Holbrook, and I'm a foundation trustee and a former employee here. I see lots of
Oh, former employee, great. You just can't stay away, huh? Is that, yeah, good, all right.
My name is Linda Schreiber. I'm a community member. My family grew up here, and I've lived here 50 years. I love Ames. We have considered and successful graduates.
Very good, thank you.
I'm Lynn Carrick. I am a former District 6 teacher and happily now part of the Ames Foundation.
Very good, thank you for your support.
Diane Holbrook, retired educator from up at Eaton.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you all for the very good work that you do. We're really appreciative of what happens. Let's give them a hand, you know? Is there anyone else now that's on that, on the foundation that's here and didn't end up at the front table? Okay. All right, well, again, thank you all for being here. Members, you have before you the consent or approval of the agenda. I'll get it in a minute. Our current agenda. Is there any additions or corrections to what we were presented as a tentative agenda? May I have a motion then to approve the agenda as presented?
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Carol.
Second.
Thank you, Jean. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. That motion is carried. Now it's time for public comment. And Ms. Cole?
Chair Peterson, I did provide you a comment registration from one person from the public. If there's anybody else that wants to provide public comment, please see me for a card.
Okay, thank you. And we have Scott Ehrlichs. Where is he? Ah, there he is. Scott, welcome. Appreciate you here.
Thank you. I thought there would be a lot more people than me making comments.
Well, so did we.
But I understand I have 3 minutes, so I'll still try to.
I tell you,
keep
you can
things
have more
moving.
time if you really want it. So.
I'm a Greeley native, second generation Greeley native, and I've always really liked the things that Ames does in the community. I think it's one of the greatest assets we have here. So I've always been a supporter of Ames, and it's near and dear to my heart. And I'm actually an Ames, I think it's called a fellow. I got that award and distinction years ago. So, so this institution means a whole lot to me. And I want to speak briefly about the aviation decision. I know there's some people that I think their heart's in Greeley, and I can understand that being a Greeley native, but I think the board made the right decision. I am the current chairman of the Northern Colorado Economic Alliance. We're a regional economic development organization, so I do need to put that disclaimer out there. And I know recently Tom Gendron at Woodward made a great announcement with the jobs that they're bringing to Northern Colorado in aerospace and aviation. And so I think this is a real opportunity in these industries for Northern Colorado, not just for Greeley. And I think the move is a very important one if we want to continue to get more jobs in those industries. So I think it's a bold move by the board, but I support it. I hope that our leaders can start to look at both airports as important assets in Northern Colorado. I think there's a great strategy for the Greeley Airport, and I think the Fort Collins-Loveland Airport will be a regional airport. And no matter how we feel in Greeley, they're in the center of the population. So I believe there's great opportunities for the Greeley Airport in industrial uses, and we can create our own strategy and be very successful with it. We've seen it done in other communities, and it's been very good. For example, Pueblo's more of an industrial airport. Colorado Springs is more of an airport that serves the public, and it works very well there. So I just want to encourage my support and let you know that I think you made a good decision that is looking into the future and is looking at what's best for Ames Community College, and in particular the aviation school, knowing that you can grow it and make it better. I think the only downside I've ran across is, people would argue that you're using Weld County taxpayer money, and this is not going to be in Weld County, but I think you can minimize some of that subsidy because I believe that those that don't live in Weld County will pay a little higher fee for the school, and that's how you offset that. So that's really the only thing that I could find that I could possibly criticize in the decision, and I think that's how you overcome that. So anyhow, good decision. Thank you for being a regional leader, and appreciate your courage in making it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Okay. I think, nope. Nope, okay. Okay, next we have our consent agenda. So again, board members, you have received it earlier. Is there any corrections or anything you'd want to pull out or anything? Is there a motion then to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Lyle. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Carol. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. That motion is carried. Board representative reports. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Hi, thank you for having me here today. I'm so sorry to step in late on what is my last day as the representative for you from the AFA, since there are summer workshops and there won't be regular meetings. So I will first announce the new AFA faculty board reps. They are Francie Rotini of AAA. You might remember her from this amazing AAA media project I mentioned a few months ago. And Brooke Elsie of music. She recently hosted the Ames Arts Night and a humanities recital for faculty. We have some publications. Rebecca Saylor of humanities and Trish Rand, associate dean, who is then faculty, recently published an article called Promoting Online Connections Among Community College Students in the publication Enhancing Social Presence in Online Learning Environments. There's an abstract you can look at if you would like. Their chapter discusses opportunities for serving community college students in online learning environments. Conferences and presentations. You'll hear a lot about Cerisa Reynolds here. She's the FTLC chair and assistant professor of anthropology. She attended the 40th annual meeting of the Colorado Council of Professional Archaeologists in Longmont on the 9th and 10th. She also gave a talk on April 13th called What's Anthropology Got to Do with It? This was in an anthropology-informed leadership style. at Advanced Talks Conference, advocating development, community, and education, sponsored by the American Association for Women in Community Colleges. What I found interesting was, in addition, on this same day, a research paper of Dr. Reynolds, which she co-authored with colleagues, with non-Ames colleagues, was presented at the 83rd Annual Society for American Archaeology meeting in Washington, D.C. I tend to think that if anyone could divide themselves into two people, it would be Sarisa, but since she was unable to do that, someone else presented her paper titled A Reexamination of the Nature and Context of the Finley Paleo-Indian Bison Bone Beds in Southwest Wyoming. We have some faculty development. Several faculty and members of the instructional design team participated in the Quality Matter Western Regional Conference on the MSU Aurora campus in April. That was under the leadership of Ross Perkins. Attendees included Luke Cartier, Cheryl Comstock, Jim Hutchinson, Adam Sanfelice, Sandra Kragar, and Francie Bertini. I don't know how many of you made it to the Ames Arts Night, but it was pretty impressive. And again, that was largely spearheaded by Brooke Elsey, who you'll get to know well. She was also helped by Stephanie Newton of Art, the SGA, and the Creative Writing Club. There's a flyer there that does not do it justice, but since I was there, I can tell you it was pretty impressive. And as all the arts nights have been for the last 3 years, just really a good, supportive vibe, eclectic mix of people going up, people who've never really performed before, or people who've performed many, many times and were very accomplished. But either way, every time I go to one of those things, I think that's what Ames is about. We need to do this as often as we can. It was really, really warm and beautiful. And of course, you've heard much about the Ames Read. That's wrapping up. But I just wanted to thank Shel Costello of English, Clint Heiner of History, and Sarisa Reynolds of Anthropology, and Marge Lambeth, Sociology, for just presenting more awesome sessions to engage students with their reading and talking about what it means in their community. So thank you for all who helped with that, as well as Michael Ling and Sharon Elo, part-time instructors of English, who also created some content. I'm sad that I won't be representing the AFA next year, but since you approved my sabbatical, thank you. I have to step away and could not nominate myself.
Oh.
So I will hopefully someday be back. Thank you.
That was pretty sneaky that you got that in there. That was good. Well, listen, we're going to miss you, and we look forward to working with your, the next chair. Okay. Let's go with staff reports here.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. We had a busy month in April. We had the ASA, and we also partnered with AFA and had a staff and faculty lunch on campus. We had 236 staff and faculty members who attended the event. 67% of those were staff and 43% faculty. Our survey results from the event, over 90% of respondents were satisfied with the time of day, the location, the food, and the content. And 96% were satisfied with the fact that we hosted a joint event and thought we should do that again. It was a great event. Everybody seemed to have a really good time. We had games on the tables. We gave away plants. There was lots of good conversation happening and mingling amongst people. We also, on April 6th, had the Weld County Food Bank Volunteer Day. We had 12 participants, and we bagged nearly 3,000 pounds of carrots. Yes, thank you, Dr. B. and Trustee Ruckel, for coming and helping out with that effort. We're also working on getting our silver leaf for volunteer hours with the Weld Food Bank. So we're doing important work there. We also, in April, had blood drives on the Loveland and Windsor campus. And combined, there were 27 units of blood collected to potentially help 54 people who might need that blood. So important work there as well. We also worked with student government for the Adopt a Street trash pickup on April 25th. We had 13 participants and collected 15 large bags of trash. And we do that out here on 20th Street in front of the college. So keeping our street clean. We also participated in the benefits fair, giving presentations about ASA and encouraging people to participate in our events and join our executive board. Finally, I have our Ripples nominations for the Distinguished Colleague Award for February. Those nominated were Travis Tomlin from Marketing, Kendra Marriott from the Nurse Aid and Med Prep program, Sarah Ramsey from FTLC, Haley Hull from the Foundation, and James Allen from Facilities. And I'd like to read a little bit about James's nomination. James was instrumental in the setup and teardown of this very large event in Ed Beatty Hall. Due to his hard work, the event was set up smoothly and cleaned up so well that there was no evidence of the event the next day. We're so thankful for James's hard work and positive attitude. Ames is very lucky to have him.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Always appreciate how busy you guys are. It's just amazing. So, students.
Hello. Thank you, Dr. B, and the board for having me here today. As you all may know, this will be my last meeting here, so bear with me. I'll try to keep my composure. I would like to announce that the student government has a new board. So we have the Campus Activities Programming Board and the new Student Government Association. There are a few students here. Not all of them could attend because I'm sure they have plenty of finals and testing to go about this week. But if the new student government could stand up.
All right. All right. My goodness.
Thank you. I do want to clarify that is a mixture of the student government and the Campus Activities Programming Board. They both stood up. Dulce Gonzalez will be the new president for the next year. If you could please stand again.
Yeah. Right.
We're really excited for the new team. I think we have some really strong candidates, and we're going to do some really fun things next year. Well, they will be doing some really fun things next year. I will be missing out. But apologies. I had to mess up once in my meeting. By creating two groups, we will be able to have more clearly defined roles as well as expertise in working with the college. ASAC will be comprised of the Student Government Association, which will focus on advocacy and governance for students, and the Campus Activities Programming Board will be focused on programming and event planning. I would like to clarify that when we combined them, because previously years they were separate, and when we put them together, we felt that in order to impact the school with the most impact, it was better for us to keep separate. So the programmers will focus on programming, having events, and then the Student Government Board will focus on advocacy and just impacting the campus itself. So I think that'll be a really strong, and they'll have more time to kind of focus on different areas, which will be benefit to the school and the students. Attached, as you can see, will be the new programming organizational chart, and we will be having the president again, and we'll also be having the EVP, will be the executive vice president, and we'll have 4 VPs that will represent different areas, and it's kind of a reflection of how the campus is currently ran. So those individuals will be able to hopefully work with different aspects of the college and kind of promote student success in various ways. I regret to inform you that because of low numbers for the extended coffee cart hours, ASAC and the campus food services decided to end the pilot early. We do plan on next semester piloting again for the first couple weeks, and we're hoping that at the beginning of the semester there'll be a better turnout, so we'll be able to make it more sustainable for students. I would like to say some thank yous to various departments and people that have helped me and our department through our time here. Whoever's calling me can just stop. I would like to give some additional recognition for the time for people's dedication to student success or services. First and foremost, facilities and operations. You have been a tremendous help, whether it was working with Mike Millsaps, Barbara Kingston, James, or all the various people they have on their team. They have been amazing for the several years that I've been here, and just thank you for everything you do and will continue to do in the future. I truly appreciate that. Next page. I would also like to thank the Disability Access Services, specifically Dana Jones and Neil Sorensen, for going above and beyond with our department to promote success for the students. The collaboration with our department is a reflection of how successful our impact on students can be if our departments work together towards maximizing the student experience. I would also like to thank the Center for First Year Experience and recognize their incredible staff. If anyone has ever had the opportunity of interacting with FYE, you will recognize that this group, like many other departments, are dedicated to student success and work hard to promote students' resources, entertainment, and environment that is conducive to the student learning. So thank you to them as well. I would also like to recognize the Student Leadership and Development Office for their amazing staff. Thank you, Patrick Call, Becca Herman, Whitney Cowling, Tiffany Brickley, and Sarah Zadigan and Patty Schultz for their work in promoting student success. I have been with the Student Government Association for 3 years, and the SLD department consistently works to promote all areas of student success, and I consider it a great honor to work with them in the department for the last few years, so thank you. I would jump back. I'd also want to highlight the music department, the art department, all the other departments that give students a venue and an outlet to promote themselves and their achievements, whether it's the art gallery or the performances. It's really important for students to be able to come here, get their education, but also highlight their skills and what their abilities are. I think that's really important. I just want to thank all the departments that work with the students to kind of promote their own abilities and really make their impact on the school. So thank you. I would also like to say thank you to campus security for everything you do. This last year, as we all know, has had a series of events in the media, and not for 1 second did I doubt the ability of our campus security and resources. They are a tremendous team, and I just am really proud to have them here and that I've gotten the opportunity to meet all of them, so thank you. I would like to also say thank you to Sarah. It has been an honor to work with you this last year. I think between you, me, and PC, we're all kind of new to our roles. We really didn't know, I don't say we, because I can only speak for myself, but I didn't know truly what I was in for. I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I was passionate, but I didn't know if I had the other skills and strengths to go along with that, and it was an honor to work alongside you and PC this last year, so thank you for everything. I have every bit of faith that you will truly impact the students in the school in the coming years. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you to PC as well for everything that you've done and will do. Dr. B, thank you so much. You have been instrumental for me, whether it was attending the college council meetings and seeing you conduct the meetings and control the heads of the school. It was really cool for the most part, but you have like been able to. Don't quote me. Stop. But you have really impacted me, and it's been an honor to watch you work. I remember the first meeting I went to, you gave the story about your first college council meeting and how you didn't communicate effectively, and basically the president stood up and slammed their hands on the table and said, "What is this?" You scared me that day. I'll be honest, but it really taught me that communication is key and important, especially when you're trying to work with various facets of the college and leaders on the campus. It's very important to kind of follow that communication. I'm very proud to have you as our president, and I'm really excited to see what happens in the future, especially if there's the strategic plan. My last one. I only highlighted a few departments and individuals for my report, but I could continue into every department. I could highlight a lot more individuals at Ames Community College, but thank you for time's sake. But thank you for all of your dedication and support for student services and the student experience as a whole. My time at Ames has been truly memorable, and I have the campus as a whole to thank for this experience. Now, this is something I didn't want to do because I was nervous, but everyone, you've seen my success here. You've seen what I've done and all my impact on the school. So I would like to share, since you know my successes, I would like to share part of my failures in my past. So as of age 13, I was an addict. I didn't think I would do anything other than be an addict. I thought my life would end as an addict. I dealt with depression, self-harm, and various things. After my mom passed away of ovarian cancer in 2010, I decided to change my life. I don't know if I got smacked in the head or what happened, but I was not pleased with who I was. I was not pleased with any of the decisions I had made, and I wanted to change my life. That's what led me to Ames. I moved to Colorado after she passed away, and I just wanted something different. I wanted something better. I found Ames for their smaller class sizes and everything, and the moment I stepped foot on campus, it was amazing. I was able to not just get an education and grow as an individual, but I was able to redefine myself and everything that I was. I was able to rebuild myself as an image of something that I was comfortable that I wanted to be, and I was very proud of the impact that Ames has done to me. I'm very proud of the impact it has on the community and everyone else. Just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It has been an honor to be here for the last few years, and thank you for everything and everyone who's contributed to that. So thank you. And with that, I pass the torch on to the next year's team. Thank you.
We're sure going to miss you, Cody, for God's sakes. And I hope you haven't copyrighted what you've just said, because I think we can use that a lot. I'll
You
tell
can use it.
That was amazing. Good grief, that's
I just did that off the
wonderful.
cuff, so.
Well, good for you, good for you.
And at the heart.
Nothing like
cry.
a good success story to really warm the heart.
I just
So,
wanted to share that, so thank you.
thank you, and we're going to miss you. We'll look forward to your replacement, and we'll go from there. So, okay, Dr. B, I guess you're on. That's a hard act to
Yeah.
follow.
How do you follow that? So, President's report. I'd like to ask Dr. Kish to come up and give us a report out on academic affairs. She has a couple of presentations for us. One of them is a follow-up on our accreditation open pathways overview, as well as our response from HLC regarding our visit, and then also an update on evening and weekend task force, and then any other highlights she might have.
Just a second while it loads.
Okay, first off, I just want to say, Cody, we are really proud of you, and we're also proud of all the students who are really achieving their dreams. So congratulations to you. So, all right, so that we can keep doing the good work that we do here, we need accreditation. And so today I wanted to just give you a quick overview of the change from AQUIP to Open Pathways. And so there we go. So the Academic Quality Improvement Program was quite an involved process, and the slide here outlines that process. And so that is what we were on. It involved a strategy forum, annual action projects. So every year we were doing action projects, a systems portfolio, appraisals, reports, reviews, the comprehensive quality review and annual action project in year 4, again in year 8, and then you'll see the repeats of year 1 and 2 and 5 and 6, as well as year 4 and 7. So moving to open, one of the benefits is that we really can streamline some of the compliance work that we do here. And so years 1 through 3, we prepare an assurance filing, very similar to the systems portfolio that we were doing. We have our assurance review in year 4. We have an initiative of proposal in years 5 through 7, and an initiative report in years 7 through 9, and then we go through another comprehensive evaluation in year 10 versus year 8. So this is really a good thing for the college. So to wrap up the HLC visit that we had in October, and then our feedback this spring, we have received 2 monitoring reports, which I had mentioned at the last board meeting. So the first one is regarding the evaluation of our concurrent enrollment faculty, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, and our credit to clock hour compliance. So this is what the site visitors had to say about components 3A, 3C, and 4A. The team has concerns about the college's ability to ensure program quality and program learning goal consistency in concurrent enrollment courses taught at high school locations by faculty who are employees of the schools rather than the college. The rigor of courses, expectations for student learning, and access to learning resources are also a concern for the same reason. It does not appear Ames has the ability to currently evaluate its concurrent enrollment faculty to ensure the above. And so this is a national issue. This isn't just an Ames issue. As concurrent enrollment expands and we use employees of other schools, evaluating the faculty becomes an issue. So we're no different. So we have to submit a report by June of 19 that contains how we will ensure the rigor, the consistency of learning goals and outcomes, expectations for student learning, and access to learning resources that are college level for each of our partner schools and our high school locations. This may be in the form of MOUs or other types of written agreements with said schools. We have to provide copies of all of our course syllabi from our dual credit courses that are taught at high school locations and the master course syllabus from which they're derived. We also have to show our documentation of how we're going to evaluate the concurrent enrollment faculty related to these college level courses, a schedule for the evaluations, and 5 examples of actual evaluations. So let me tell you what we're doing. So we are going to update all of our concurrent enrollment MOUs. Those are memorandums of understanding, which will include the ability to go into the high school and do the evaluation, regardless of whether it's our employee or their employee. So that's new. We'll also review and update our faculty observation form. We're going to create a process and a schedule for the allocation of funds to do the observations, because people have to actually go do those, and of our concurrent enrollment faculty. And we'll also be collecting and reviewing all of our syllabi to ensure compliance with our master courses. So are there any questions on that particular monitoring report? Yes, Trustee Ruckel?
Yes, as an old K-12 person who at one point was in charge of evaluation of all personnel working at the State Department, how does what we do mesh with the evaluation that the high school is doing of those faculty members?
They're 2 separate, distinct activities, and
Okay.
so our evaluation will not go towards their evaluation,
Okay.
I guess, unless they choose for it to do so. We
Okay.
had no intention of necessarily sharing that. And really it goes to, if they're not our employee, whether we would like to continue to credential this person to teach. So let's say something's not going well, right, and we don't want to continue that relationship, then we would remove our credentialing.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
The observation really is to ensure that rigor and compliance.
Okay, thank you.
How does that
Yes, sir.
evaluation kind of come about? Is it you spend an afternoon or?
Yeah, you go over our current process, which we will be using the same process no matter the type of faculty. So if it's faculty here or faculty at the high schools, it'll be the same. So yeah, we usually send a pre-observation form and usually list out what we're going to be looking for. We schedule a time to visit. We come to the classroom and observe. You sit in the back of the room and try not to participate. It's hard not to. And then you really observe based on the criteria that we already have established.
And would those be existing faculty or would those be staff, other staff?
So that process normally would be chairs, but sometimes there's too many, let's say in English, where we may have another faculty member go and do that observation. Yeah. So then after the observation is complete, they sit down, they go through it, talk about things that were really strengths, things that might have been challenges or opportunities for improvement, and then we move forward from there.
So may I ask Dr. Kesh, when you negotiate or whatever the MOUs, these details will be worked out with the various high schools? I mean, it seems like there could be a little conflict of, no, this person is not, we can't accredit them, or whatever you said.
Credential, yeah.
Yeah, credential, I'm sorry. But they would be thinking, well, hey, there's nothing wrong with this teacher and it's doing a good job, so.
It's always within our discretion to determine whether or not a teacher is qualified or allowed to teach one of our courses. So we would retain that authority. I would certainly not be very willing to delegate that to someone else.
Okay.
So.
And they're credentialed in the beginning, and then this would just be a review as to whether that was appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How is the monetary side of concurrent enrollment work? Do we share allotment sums, or do we just kind of give?
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
It actually, there's multiple models depending on the type of school that it is. So our ECA looks a little different than our regular concurrent enrollment. We also have Career Academy, which is our primarily CTE type enrollment, and that's done based on a 12-hour block, so it looks very different. And so it depends.
Do we lose money on the deal?
We are an industry that serves our community,
I know, we
so
always
many
lose
of the
money.
things that we do
I know
cost
that's an
dollars.
oxymoron question. We always lose money. But
No,
it does cost us more to do concurrent enrollment than instruction here.
Not always.
Not always.
Particularly if it's their faculty member,
Okay.
and we're credentialing them, then it's relatively inexpensive for us. We would have the cost of observation, the cost to do
Evaluations, things like that.
things like that, yeah, and to transcript those credits. But it's less expensive for us in that case. So it depends.
Okay, super, thank you.
All right, so the next monitoring report has to do with credit to clock hour compliance. And we have actually been working on this for about 2 years. So in the report, they indicate that they think that we've got it worked out, but they're just going to make sure. And so they'd like us to do a report based on that. And so what they say is the team is recommending Ames review all compressed format courses to ensure the Carnegie unit of 1 hour of class time to 2 hours of homework, and that can be achieved within that compressed format. And so basically making sure there are enough hours in the week to accomplish what we're asking them to accomplish. So the reports that we have to include in this report, all of our syllabi from compressed format courses, a detailed report showing how each of these courses meet the Carnegie unit, a detailed report on the number of learning outcomes in compressed courses and how they may be achieved in the amount of time that the course is offered. We do need to update our policy 2-1000, which has to do with credit hours, and our procedure 2-1000A. And the current policy states Ames Community College does include in their policy a very loose statement regarding the attainment of learning outcomes by a successful student and the number of credits awarded. So you can see it's a very generic policy, and they'd like us to get a little more specific about what that means. And so we've already started on drafting some of those changes. So our response, like I said, we've been working on this issue for about 2 years. So we will continue to work on reducing parts of term, and that's probably a technical term, those of you not in the industry, but it's the number of starts and stops, essentially. And we had about 250, we went down to 160, and we're trying to balance student needs and how do we serve students best, and how do we also operate efficiently. And so we're still working on that. We updated our block schedule and revised it just a little bit so that we could adhere to that and make sure we had enough credit contact time. We also eliminated exam week and had that week to be a instructional week. And so that was part of the changes to address this. We will also, and that's number 2 there, so we'll also revise board policy and procedure to 1000 to 1000A, and we'll create a report for learning outcomes in our compressed courses. And we've already reduced and limited those compressed courses. So they're almost the real compressed ones that they're worried about, we do not have any longer. So we've eliminated those. Do you have any questions on that monitoring report?
You reduced or eliminated compressed courses purely at the discretion of the review team? I mean, they questioned it, so you dropped these courses?
It could not, the ones that absolutely could not meet the requirements, so I'll give you an example, 3 credits in 1 week. So that's 45 hours of contact time and about 90 hours of homework time. It's physically not possible to do in 1 week, so we eliminated those. And redesigned them so that they would be 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever the credit hours were.
Okay, all right, so it's still going on. It's not a
Absolutely.
matter of, okay, students, sorry.
No, absolutely not. We've redesigned so that those do meet the requirements and are not in that compressed format.
All right, okay. Any other questions?
All right, so I'm not sure how long ago it's been, but a while ago, a few months ago, we had visited with you about our night and weekend offerings and had made some promises about re-looking at those offerings and trying to find ways in which we can increase those offerings to serve some of our students, particularly non-traditional students that have not been served in the past in the way that we'd like to. So we had a task force that we put together, and Mary Gabriel, actually the director at the Windsor campus, is our lead for that task force because we've seen such success at Windsor, and so we've really relied on her expertise in creating that success. So we are going to be offering the AA degree at night in Greeley with a full course offerings. We are adding a welding night cohort at Fort Lupton. We are adding the accounting certificate on weekends in Greeley. And we are working on a non-credit offering for nursing operating room specialization program on evenings and weekends in Greeley as well. So we're currently compiling our degrees and certificates that you can do on the evenings and weekends and putting cohesive marketing together, and it's already looking very good. And we'll offer more classes in our gap areas like humanities. So we have a spattering of offerings, but how are we creating really defined pathways for those offerings at those times? And so you can see some of the marketing there at the bottom right. And so we're really trying to put together support services based on the need and minimizing cost, of course, in doing so. We are using branding marketing, targeting recruitment, we're soliciting student feedback, and we're also soliciting changes from the college community.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Is that what our new signs would look like?
This one?
That lower right-hand corner?
It's a website, I believe. The branding for just the night and weekend courses, just for that,
But we
this
could do
program.
that on an LED sign, couldn't we?
Laura assures me we can do anything. I don't know. I think that we could do something
Well,
like
I'm
that, we'll
just-
see.
That looks really inviting. I mean,
Yeah.
it does. It's really some great
It's very
artwork that
good.
way. Graphics. Thank you.
So we're going to continue to look at our existing plans. We'll determine which programs we want to expand in the future as well. We will be establishing benchmarks to evaluate our student success within this model, and research creative scheduling options, and mine the credit to clock hour compliance as we do this, and evaluate our support services and how those are working out. And of course, we'll make adjustments and meet with our businesses as needed. Do you have any questions?
I guess I would ask Dr. Kish, one of your bullets says an AA degree at night in Greeley. All AA degrees are going to be offered at night? Is that right? Or
So we actually have an Associate of Arts, which is really a generic type degree. We also have an Associate of Arts in Criminal Justice. Those are the only two AA degrees that we offer. Which account for a significant portion of our graduates. So this is about a defined pathway at night so that they can complete. And making sure the courses that they need are being offered at the times they need it.
sounds like a good plan.
Are there other kind of courses that students can take at night but eventually have to take during the day? AA degrees? Yes, probably. Maybe not.
Well, there won't be now with the AA degree,
With the AA.
but with the AS degree, I believe there's enough offerings there. It's just when you take them. It's not a crafted plan.
Okay.
So one of the successes we've seen at Windsor is that we really have crafted degree plans, and their scheduling is very block scheduled and designed in a way that students enter into essentially a cohort and move through as a cohort. And so this is an attempt to model after that design.
And they can actually have a job and go to school at the same time.
Right, because it's in the evenings.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Or the weekends. Yeah.
Or the weekends, yeah.
All right.
So,
Yeah, I'm excited.
all right. Well, I'd like to brag for just a minute.
Okay.
It's a busy time of year for us, and we will conclude our spring semester next week. This semester, we've taught 1,341 courses, almost 50,000 credits were sought, and almost 16,000 course registrations. So we're really proud of the work that our faculty and our students have done this semester. I do want to point out that we're finishing strong in our enrollment. We are up about 11% from overall. Remember, initially I told you 12. So we really only lost 1% throughout the semester, which was, I think, a strong finish. I gotta tell you, I don't know anywhere else doing this kind of growth. So it's pretty exciting. And we are on track for summer, 6% up currently. So we're really excited. Those aren't official numbers yet. Those are our tracking numbers, but we're very excited about that. Next thing, if I could just, feel like I should say approach the bench, but.
Well.
So what I'm actually probably should grab those. Oh, yeah. What we're passing out to you is a 10-year celebration of our Tax Help Colorado program. Our Tax Help Colorado program is a very, very strong program at this college, and we're really proud of the work that this team has done. I do want to publicly recognize Gina Jones. Where are you in the back? Gina is one of our accounting faculty and has run this program for 10 years. So let me tell you what her and her team have been able to do. We have, our students and faculty have prepared returns that resulted in refunds of just over $18.4 million. We had just a little bit of money. We had 279 volunteers that invested over 11,000 hours, and they completed just under 10,000 tax returns. This is outstanding work. We're really proud of the work that they do. So for this year, we are looking at a little over 1,000 tax returns and just over $2 million in refunds to our community. So congratulations, Gina.
Yeah, great.
So in March, our aviation program participated in Women of Aviation Worldwide, and that's an organization that helps promote aviation for women, one of our underserved populations in that industry. And so we provided 36 flights to 83 women that weekend, and we're really proud of that work as well. So thank you, Aviation, for reaching out. I did want to address the board's concerns about the Fort Lupton enrollment changes. We have looked at the data over and over and over, diced it, sliced it, reran it, and there's really no silver bullet for the enrollment drop. We had some of the anomalies that we were able to uncover is we had 2 classes canceled for lack of instructors. We had a few classes canceled for lack of enrollment, I believe 9. Classes currently were not at capacity, and so we know there's still room. Students have a wide array of offerings for the programs. Currently, we offer the Associate of Arts there, the Associate of Science, welding certificates and degrees, agriculture degrees and certificates, and our CNA program. We do anticipate that we're currently looking into a lead where we anticipate that our students are taking more online courses and moving away from some of the in-seat courses, and so we're going to be looking more into that. We are working with the campus director to find out why this is happening, and we'll continue to provide feedbacks as we uncover more information. Are there any questions? Okay.
Deb, I'd like to know
Yes.
how you qualify to get this income tax help.
You know?
Because I can sure use it.
He'd like to have a refund.
No,
You good? Okay.
No,
I think Gina's more than happy to help out.
Okay.
So, the American Medical Response Board met and was very impressed with the grant application submitted by our very own paramedic faculty, Paul LaFleur, and our grants manager, Laura Da Vinci, for their scholarship grant. So as a result, Ames was awarded 3 AMR Foundation scholarship grants for next year for our paramedic students, up to $5,000 each. So for a total of $15,000. So this is just another example of our faculty and staff working hard to create paths for our students. As I said a little earlier, we're also working on our non-credit offerings, and so I have some exciting news to share in that arena. We are working on starting a non-credit community paramedic program. We'll start this month. Community paramedicine is a relatively new model of community-based healthcare where paramedics operate in an extended role to facilitate more appropriate uses of emergency care and make sure patients get the specific care they need. So the course was requested by our advisory committee, and Greeley Fire Department and UC Health have already implemented community paramedics in their system. So we're very excited about this opportunity. And we're also doing a non-credit program for operating room nurses. That's the other program we're looking at right now.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
When we do a non-credit, does that I'm trying to figure out, where does that fall into our statute limitations? Aren't we supposed to be? Dr. Anderson, I need
Dr.
you to
Anderson,
rescue
I
me
believe we
here.
have authority to do non-credit offerings through the statute?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh, yes.
But I thought we have to provide accredited coursework by statute.
Post-secondary. It has to be post-secondary.
Post-secondary.
I'd like to invite
Non-credit,
Dr. Anderson.
post-secondary.
Post-secondary. Thank you. I'm
It is
finally gonna
post-secondary.
learn this statute by heart sooner or later.
The local district colleges are authorized to offer developmental education, which is changing, we know,
Okay.
post-secondary career and technical education, post-secondary transfer work, which includes an AA or an AS degree
Okay.
or an AGS degree, and workforce development. The workforce development are the non-credit courses that are available at the post-secondary level to allow incumbent workers to improve their skills
Okay.
while they're still working. So that's our
But they
workforce.
couldn't travel downhill into the secondary education.
They could not roll downhill. They're already in the workforce, so the assumption is they've completed the
Okay.
secondary requirements and are able to do post-secondary level work.
But Front Range could do that.
No,
Workforce
development, they can do workforce development,
Okay.
but it's not secondary workforce
Okay.
development. The one thing that Front Range has is an agreement that's, and remember, they're in a different statute.
I understand.
They're part of the Colorado Community College system, so they have different regulations. But they signed an agreement several years ago with Poudre Valley School District to offer their vocational education. And that, they had to go get authorization to do that. Now, they have transitioned, and I do know that because I just happen to be party to that agreement. Those courses are now all concurrent enrollment courses and are taught at the college through concurrent enrollment at the post-secondary level.
At the post-secondary level,
Mhm.
okay. But not at the high schools.
Not at what they offer at the high schools, just like we do, are concurrent enrollment classes that they're authorized to teach as post-secondary classes through the concurrent enrollment legislation.
But like our carpentry classes that we just engaged with, we could send those downstream, right?
Not to teach at the secondary level. We can offer post-secondary level carpentry programs at a high school, but they would be post-secondary or college level
Okay,
coursework.
there you go, thank you. Yeah, I understand that. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll get it
That's why they
sooner or
call
later.
it doctor.
I know.
Workforce
You
development
figure it
really
out,
is about
Mark.
educating the current workforce, so people who've already completed high school or even college, for that matter. So maybe, like, I want to go back and do something else and want to get a different degree or just some non-credit offerings, I might go do something like that.
Okay.
So, all right, we have exciting news. Our Med Prep program, which is a program that serves high school students, but it is a college program, had a 100%.
Don't cross the line.
A 100% pass rate on their nurse aid lab finals.
Wow.
So, pretty exciting.
100%.
Last year, we had about 8 to 10 folks who were not successful, and so this was a pretty big increase for us, and we're really excited. Our traditional nurse aid students had a 97% pass rate, which is equally as good. So very excited for our nurse aid program. Concurrent enrollment this year, we experienced a 46% increase in concurrent enrollment from the previous year. Our students are on average taking about 7.1 credits per year, and we've approved 16 new instructors in concurrent enrollment. That means we have to do 16 more observations, and so we should see another increase in concurrent enrollment. I want to just quickly brag about our industrial tech program with Professor McMains, who had a team in his class, or the classes, they are NASA grant funded. Thank you.
Approach the bench.
Send payloads essentially up into, where do they go? Up
Up into the stratosphere.
stratosphere, up into the stratosphere. And here is the example of the one that they sent this year. And Lee, if you could just give like a one-sentence quick kind of statement of where.
Students designed the experiment, and then the payload that holds the experiment, they wanted to see if they could determine unusual gas emissions from drilling sites. So they designed and 3D printed almost this entire structure. It went on a high altitude balloon flight up to just about 100,000 feet, came back down, and they're looking at the data now.
Nice. I also wanted to brag about sterile processing, which is our new certificate. 3 of our 7 students in that program have jobs already, and they haven't graduated. So we're very excited about that. And 7 of our 12 surgical technology students also have been offered or accepted jobs as well. So we have a pretty strong showing in those programs, particularly Surg Tech. Usually we have about 100% placement rate each year. So we're excited about that. And last but not least, and I failed to mention our auto students are going to nationals again this year. I think this is the 3rd year in a row, and so we're very excited about our students and the faculty support going to nationals. I told you this was brag moment.
That's good. That's wonderful.
One more handout. So last but not least, this is our 2018 Ames review that you're getting passed around. This is a publication of our students and our faculty for creative literary works and photography and I believe artwork. So enjoy. Do you have any questions for me?
I just want to encourage people to read the review. It's just, they're wonderful every year, just really awesome stuff in them. So that's your nighttime reading starting tonight.
And I would second that remark, Carol. I think it's a wonderful publication. So,
Thank you, Dr.
super.
Kish. I'd like to ask Mr. Jensen, Vice President for Administrative Services, to come up and give us both the monthly budget update as well as an update on the Greeley Campus 20th Street project and some highlights from his division. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have before you the budget update as of March 31st, 2018. And we are 3/4 of the way through our fiscal year. And I'm happy to report that our revenues continue to come in as we anticipated. There actually will be a little bit higher when we're all said and done here at the end of the fiscal year. And our expenditures are on track. As you can tell, we're 75% of the fiscal year, and we're hitting 64 and 61% of our expenditure levels. So again, we continue to manage our budgets very well. I don't have any concerns to bring to the board's attention, so if there's any questions on the budget, I'll entertain them at this time.
Questions, anybody? I guess you're good to go, Chuck.
Thank you. A couple quick updates on our 50th Street, our 50th Avenue project here on the front of campus. We're on schedule. The irrigation ditch should be completely piped in by the end of the week. We'll be closing 50th Avenue for realignment at the end of school here. So you'll see a lot of construction there throughout the summer. Our goal is to have that open by the time school starts in the fall. So, but that entrance will have periods of time where it's closed or for the whole summer be closed. And we'll continue to give updates to the campus to make sure they know the progress of that project. Another exciting aspect of that whole project is we continue to have positive dialogue with the city of Greeley on installing a controlled intersection at that juncture with 20th Street, and we're very excited about that. We're continuing to install the infrastructure on our property that would facilitate a controlled intersection. So we're really partnering with the city of Greeley and preemptively installing the infrastructure that needs to be there for that type of a controlled intersection. So very excited about that project. Any questions on that project at all?
Are there any sketches or maps of what the realignment's going to look like?
Yes, I could get you one.
Okay, thank you.
We're essentially straightening it out. I mean, that's probably the quickest. It's kind of at an angle right now coming in. We're straightening it out, and it'll come to a roundabout. And so I'll get some diagrams for you so you can
Okay.
see it on paper, but
It'll go directly towards 50th.
mhm.
Okay.
That's the
That would be the-
requirement. That's a requirement of having a controlled intersection. You got to have a perpendicular approach road or
Yeah.
entrance. So
Yeah.
Can't come at it.
you can't come at it at an angle. So that's we're coming straight on to 20th. So
Okay.
we'll get you some pictures of that.
Thank you.
I'd also like to just have 1 minute of brag. Just recently, the college hosted the second annual COAPA conference, and that stands for the Colorado Association of Physical Plant Administrators. We held it on the 25th and 26th of April. 300 higher education facilities professionals from across the state were in attendance, representing both 2- and 4-year education institutions in the state, and there were 36 business partners. Mike Millsap, who is a founding member of the board and serves on the executive committee, is responsible for making that happen on our campus. It really put Ames on the map as far as facilities in the state of Colorado. By all accounts, it was a well-received conference. Of course, those 2 days were beautiful weather, so the campus really shined. And much kudos to Mike and his team for putting that on. And that was a real big feather in our cap in the state of Colorado.
Very good, very good.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Nope, okay.
All right, I'd like to invite Dr. Anderson to come up, Vice President for Community and College Relations. She has a Fort Lupton video to show us, and this month is the annual report for CCR.
Good afternoon.
Sure it's not evening. Oh, that's nice.
I'm sorry, what?
Can you do that?
That's really nice. That's a great picture you got up there.
Thanks. It does appear that it is frozen.
That looks like something I would do.
Thank you. Okay. We need this up there full screen. I wanted to begin by just sharing a few things from last month and then transitioning into some things that are coming up in next month in June for you, so you can get them on your calendars, and then we'll move into the annual report if that's okay with everybody. We've been very busy this month, and we began with the Windsor had their public safety day, which was fun. Unfortunately, the weather didn't cooperate as much as we would have liked to have had it, but it was fun to see kids climbing on fire trucks and the many demonstrations. It really is an educational event that the students prepare. In Loveland, we were honored to have, oh, thank you. We were honored to have Congressman Polis select the Loveland campus to do his congressional art show. And so we had several works from high school students that were on display in Loveland, and then the congressman came and selected winners, and it was wonderful to have that many gifted artists and their parents at the Loveland campus, and to see the congressman talk to every single one of those kids about their artwork, and so it was fun. In addition to that, Loveland hosted at the museum the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Martin Luther King, which was a very dynamic night that Heather helped facilitate, and thank you for attending, Trustee Ruckel. And we also had at Fort Lupton a movie night, which was a first for the Fort Lupton campus, that was well attended by about 60 people, so we were proud of that. This month, the Dream Team came to campus for a registration day. So recruiting met them and then did many information sessions in collaboration with other departments on campus, and then the students left registered and ready to rock and roll for the fall, which is exciting. And in addition to that, recruiting hosted a set of educators from Thailand this year and did a tour of our campus and talked about how community colleges operate. For the foundation, we had, and thank you for attending, Chairman Peterson, the scholarship reception, And as we learned at the joint meeting, we couldn't be prouder of the work that Kelly's doing, and our April to April increase is 147%. So that's absolutely remarkable. And we have had 211 people who increased their allocation or their donation to the foundation, which is wonderful. And then on your desk, you will see the brown little boxes with the red bows. Those are May baskets. And our communications and public information team delivered those yesterday on May Day to partners in the community. And we're getting a lot of emails back from chambers saying, we love chocolate and we'll plant the seeds. So that was really a nice outreach that we did. And then in addition to that, the communications team has been nominated for the state public Relations Association Awards for two, one for our website and one for our 50th anniversary. And this is a competition with all public relation firms, not just higher ed. So it's pretty impressive that we're in the finalists in those two areas. And May 10th, we'll be traveling to Denver to see how we did. So we're excited. Also, we are continuing with the Males project and pilot, which is the outreach. And this month we hosted a parent engagement program. We have been doing a series of Saturday things for parents only. This time we, Dr. Gonzalez met the parents at the Automotive Center in Windsor, and Fred, is Fred here? He did a great job presenting the opportunities that are available there. And then in government affairs, I'm very excited to announce that we are now, it's sitting on the governor's desk, and we have a bet whether he's going to sign it or let it run. He's not going to veto it, but to authorize us to offer a baccalaureate in nursing, so the BSN degree. And so we're very excited about that, and we need to thank Trish and Deb, who went down and did great jobs testifying. Yeah, that's huge. And then right now, Shannon McCaslin, our Dean of Students, is there to testify on legislation that would allow a pot of money for emergency loans for students who have every intention of successfully completing their semester, but then something happens, like they have a car accident and they don't have the financial resources to cover the $500 or $1,000 deductible, so they have no transportation to come to work. We had a veteran student whose GI Bill didn't come in and couldn't afford groceries, and of course, like every veteran, once the GI Bill came in, she asked if she could repay that loan so that someone else could be served. But we were scheduled, Shannon was scheduled at about upon adjournment, which we thought would be about 9:30 this morning. She still hasn't testified yet. So we owe Shannon lunch. As I have told you, we have been transitioning to telling great stories in terms of our outreach to the community. And Curtis, who is our videographer, is putting together a series of videos about each of our campuses. And so I would like to show you our video that is completed on our Fort Lufton campus. And I think that you'll realize if you saw this video, you too would choose to attend Fort Lufton. The skill will be turning on play. I'm sorry, Curtis is ill today. So we'll just watch that again.
Hi there, my name is Sonia. He's in the back. I am a professor of art and design here at Ames Community
Oh,
College.
Curtis is here.
And my main area
I'm
is
sorry,
social
Curtis, stand
services.
Super.
Okay. Then we have two things. During this year, our recruiting and admissions advising team has been transitioning, which you'll see in our annual report. Instead of doing one-on-one appointments, we've been trying to get out into the community and enticing people to come visit. And so they will be doing a series of what we call College 101, which are really overviews about coming to college. And we don't just sell Ames there. We say, you know, you need a post-secondary education, but by developing a relationship with us, they attach to Ames. And so they're going to be offered in every library during June throughout the county, except I have to tell Trustee Reckel, Fort Lupton, because of the renovation. And then the other thing is, I hope you'll join us at the Greeley Stampede on July 3rd. Haley is hosting an alumni event this year. Last year we had the event on campus, and this year we're going to the Stampede. So I hope, Cody, you'll be there joining us as an alum. We are proud that you're an alum and excited you're an alum. So come and have some ribs and, I was going to say, whatever. Good food. So this will be my final annual report before I drive into the sunset. Woo. But in order to prepare, I have to say, like Cody, I had an amazing experience at Ames, and bringing these three departments together to form a comprehensive, very strategic outreach component of the institution has been fun. I want to thank Callie Jackson and Laura Cole and Jody Markheim, who are the executive directors, who actually do all the work with their individual departments that make this work. But I need to recognize this staff. So if you would all stand up, please, CCR. So in January, the satellite campuses came under CCR, and so we added a very tight-knit group that I call affectionately the Satellite Sisters, who are Mary, Julie, and Heather, and each one of them is dedicated to their campuses and growing those campuses to be very successful. So this year in Fort Lupton, the decision was made in collaboration with Academic Affairs to expand the welding program. So that is a huge deal and will increase enrollment. And then in addition to that, this is Julie's first year. And so she has been very busy learning the community and has been out and about in the community. In Loveland, Michael Millsaps is working with Heather to renovate the facade of the campus, and they're pulling permits and stuff to get rid of the awnings, the red awnings, and do something more modern, so we're excited. And then Academic Affairs and Heather are partnering now to really look at the availability and continuing to add programs that will be appropriate and aligned with the needs of the community. And then in Windsor, of course, you have to know that their biggest excitement for the year was what you did, which was purchase the land, so they know there's an opportunity for future growth there. Enrollment continues to be amazing at our Windsor campus. And one of the things that they're in the process of adding is a welcome counter on that first floor when you walk in, which will really be a boost to customer service and something that was a need there. And so that's moving forward. So those are exciting things that are happening on the three campuses. But the real thing is the shift for the executive directors to be out in the community, and they have really embraced that. So you will see them on chamber boards and in service organizations and hosting community events on their campuses, which is really exciting. So it would be very nice for me to stand up here and tell you all the great things that have happened this year in CCR, but we decided that we're the creative team, and so we would show you what has happened this year. So I may need Curtis. Oh yeah, funny for you.
I've seen this before.
That was awesome.
So with that, do you have any questions about the work we've done this year?
Oh, boy, that's, we ask a lot of questions. You've answered, good job at it. I appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. And
Thank you.
It really, honestly, I don't do any work. It really is the set of people that stood up here, and it's all of the communications team and the advisors, not the admissions advisors who are working nights and weekends, and the foundation that's out. We will be selling Arties with mortar boards at graduation, so if you need a few more, be ready. Okay, any? Okay, well, thank you.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say thank you.
Oh,
and
thank
wish
you.
all, wish you the
Yes.
very, very, very best. And,
Thank you.
We're
You will
proud
be
of you.
missed.
No, you won't even know me in July. Thank you.
Well, come back and test us.
We will know you in July, and we're going to bring you back so that anytime Mark has a question about statute, we're going to plug you in.
I might ask her to figure out a way to rewrite it.
You
Or
can ask.
addend
Okay, Dr. Sarah Weisgeber, who'd like to give us an update on what's going on in the SACE division, and I believe you're going to give us an update on Artie's Pantry as well. Thanks.
Yeah. So congratulations, folks. We made it. I remember last August, it was my first board meeting with you, and I was saying, welcome back to fall. It's so exciting. Here we are. We're ready to go. And I'm so excited today to say congratulations to everyone, to our students. We made it through another academic year. Over the last couple of months, we've been talking about what student engagement, student inclusion, and student success mean in the context of the SACE division. And so I've done a little work to try to help you understand how we are working to define those terms, and also share with you some of the operational pieces that are behind that work. And as I was listening to Cody, your story that you shared with us, thanks for having the courage to do that, it was beautiful. I thought to myself, I don't know that I need to explain what success is, because I think we've all had the opportunity to witness it in you and along with our other students. So thank you for allowing us, Cody, the opportunity to walk on this journey with you and to be a part of your story. And I think I say that on behalf of everyone here, that we are honored to have the opportunity to work with you. So in higher ed, we've been talking about student success and thinking about how do we want to define this. We've sliced, diced, split hairs, argued over it at length for hours ad nauseum. I suspect there was probably bottles of wine involved at some point for some folks. We think about it in terms of, is it the moment that students understand that bigger holistic picture, their rights and responsibilities to be meaningful, contributing members to communities? Or is it the moment where the student has completed and graduated, and all of a sudden that means student success? For other students, student success is simply completing that one class that they came to learn something new about, taking an automotive class, trying to understand, how can I fix my car at home? And so I think when we think about what we do at Ames, you know, our mission talks about this idea of really working to provide the skills and knowledge our students need to enhance their quality of life. And I think we've done a really excellent job doing that, certainly not just as a SACE division, but as an entire institution, working together, collaborating on projects, and really working to try to serve the students in that way. One of the ways that I think recently we worked towards success is through Artie's Pantry. Thank you for coming over and taking a peek at the pantry today, and thank you for spending some time with our students and understanding more about that. On day 9, or I think it was day 13, I reported to you that we had over 40 visits. We're now day 33, minus weekends. We've had over 107 visits to the pantry. What we're recognizing in how this is meeting our student need, we see several students coming in at least once a week. There are a few students, probably the majority of our students who use the pantry are coming in multiple times a week. Again, they can come in and up to 2 times a week and take 5 items that they need. And so what that tells me is that Ames is helping serve a critical need that these students have to meet their very basic needs when we look at Maslow's hierarchy. And I think that is an appreciation of the folks, certainly the student government folks who are working to this, but also the board for allowing us in this way to give back. In terms of donations, PC shared a little bit earlier today what our donations look like. We've had about $400 in one-time donations. In our payroll deductions, we're looking at just under $400. I can talk a little louder. Just under $400 monthly in payroll deductions, which brings us to about $4,700 a year annually for the pantry. So that's very exciting that we have so much community support to make sure that our students are getting those needs met. Any questions about the pantry before I move into other highlights?
No, I think it's a great idea that is already there.
Yeah.
Which is, it'll be nice to see it migrate to our other campuses.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And whatever additional support's needed, I know the board would probably push a few shekels that way.
Fantastic.
So whatever we got to do.
I'll remember that, Trustee House.
Please.
Very good. Fantastic.
I'm allowed to say that here, but anywhere else, I'm gonna be in trouble.
Right. Other questions, thoughts about the pantry? I likely won't present or provide a whole lot of updates on the pantry unless we see some significant changes in usage until we kind of meet our evaluation point. So this marks really that place where we're going to let it move forward and evolve naturally and see. I won't likely provide monthly updates unless something really exciting and extravagant happens, and I'll bring that back to you. I will come back when we talk about our evaluation at the end of the pilot. At that time, I anticipate having additional information about our plan to expand to our satellite campuses.
Okay, super.
Okay. This week is our Work Study Appreciation Week. And for those of you who don't know, Work Study is a huge tool in getting students in student retention. We have at the Ames campus about 160 students who are working on all 4 campuses, as well as some other nonprofits in the Weld County and Loveland communities. We have 58 different supervisors who are part of supporting our work study students. And in that, so part of our Work Study Appreciation Week was to share with students how much we value them working. We appreciate them trying to juggle their multiple schedules, whether those are family demands or academic demands and work demands, in order to be on campus. So the financial aid office did this little gift to the students. And so all the work study students got a little bag that says, "We would go bananas without you," #Ames gratitude. And inside, because we like to play around with words, we gave them bananas. So that was really exciting. We also gave them seeds to plant that talk about the fact that we are, these are seeds of appreciation that we hope will continue to grow. Other ways we are celebrating success at Ames, we are launching another pilot. I think pilots are some of my favorite thing to do, and it gives us some creative room to really try new things and expand. Many years ago, we used to offer an in-person orientation on the Ames campus for new students. In years past, that in-person orientation has gone away. We've done more online. We're really working to bring that back now as we try to better connect with students on a personal level. We know that one of the things students tell us in the evaluations that come out about Ames is the thing that they love most is the relationships that they make with our faculty and our staff and their other students. And so we want to try to create a space where students can kick off their academic career by creating those relationships. So we're going to see Artie's orientation pilot roll out this summer. We will continue to expand that pilot, hopefully getting all students to come through an in-person orientation as they move through the process. So we're excited about that. Tonight is TRIO graduation celebration night. TRIO programs, as you know, are designed specifically to support historically underserved and underrepresented college students. This year, we have about 18% of our TRIO students graduating, and about 14% of students are graduating and transferring. So those statistics help us meet our criteria that we need to ensure that we maintain the federal grants, and also a really great way to celebrate the students' success. Commencement numbers, as I talk to the folks in the Student Leadership and Development Office, we talk about what are the undercurrents and truths that are happening in the world. And twice now, our executive director, PC Call, has said, "I have one word for you, and that's commencement." Commencement is in full planning mode. I think we have most of the details worked out now. We're just dealing with those last minute pieces that come up. We're planning on around 450 students walking this academic year, so that's exciting. This includes students who graduated in fall, graduated in spring, the prior summer, and we also invite students who are graduating this coming summer to participate in this ceremony. So we have about 40 volunteers that help make commencement happen. It is a volunteer basis. Our SLD folks do a lot of the heavy lifting, but we couldn't do it without the folks around the campus who help us check students in and make sure students know where they're going and their cap is on right. In the planning piece, we've calculated over 1,000 hours have gone into planning. So what will happen after our commencement ceremony this year is we'll take about a week off to go, oh, we did it. And about a week after that, we will start planning commencement again. In fact, I can share with you, we've already started planning some of the pieces already. I just signed a contract for the Budweiser Event Center for next year. So that's exciting. Great kudos to everyone in student engagement in the SACE division, as well as folks in academic affairs, our faculty. Our projected total completion for the 2017-18 academic year in terms of degrees and certificates, I want to highlight that I'm saying projected. In fact, on my notes, I have it in all caps. These are students, we don't have our official numbers in yet because we're not quite complete with spring semester or summer semester, but what we're projecting is that we will graduate over 1,800 students with certificates, and we'll have over 600 degrees awarded. I feel like last year, one of the board members, I can't remember who, might have been you, Trustee Hout, asked me, well, which program had the most? Which program had the most? So I came prepared this year. And I can share with you that we have almost 600 certificates in the automotive service tech. They have many different types of certificates, but that was our winner in terms of which program is graduating the most certificates at almost 600. And our second runner-up is the EMT certificates at almost 200. In terms of degrees, Associate of Arts is our hefty winner. We're looking at right around 350 Associate of Arts degrees, with the Associate of Applied Science degrees quickly following up with about 230. So again, these are projected, but we're not that far off, I don't think. So big congratulations to everyone here who's been working hard to help students reach that finish line. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Sarah, I'd like to have you go back just a little bit on the TRIO program.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said something like 18% were graduating.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean only 18% made the grade, or is that just 18% that are ready to graduate? Or?
Right. So it's we serve in those programs combined, we serve 280 students. And as those students graduate, we bring new in, but we can't serve more than 280. That's our maximum number of students that we can serve. So 18% of that total whole 280 are graduating, but there's only about half of those, right, that we would think would be ready, are probably in their second year ready to graduate.
Okay, that's what I was, yeah. Okay.
Is the length of that program just 2 years, or is it longer?
Those programs support the students through the duration of their time at Ames. So if a student takes 2 years at Ames, they will support them. If they take 3 years, we'll support them. Our graduation rates with the Department of Ed are tied to 150% graduation attainment rate. So that means that if 100% is 2 years, we give them 3 years to graduate based on what Department of Ed's requirements are.
And this is Colorado Department of Ed?
No, this is the Federal Department of Ed.
Federal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic.
Any other questions?
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to some of the president's notes. So at the beginning of my written remarks in your packet, you'll have President's Meetings of Note from President's Meeting of Note from April. Are there any questions about those meetings before I talk a little bit further? No? Okay. So under acknowledgements and recognitions, the big humongous news, humongous, love that word, not only for this month, but probably for a while, is going to be, and you know this, that Ames has been named a 2018 top workplace by the Denver Post and Monster.
Yay.
So what you have at your places is the insert from the Post and the program for the evening. So you each have one of those. For those of you who did not attend, there are 150 total businesses this year that were identified, 30 considered large, and Ames fits into that category, 50 mid-size and 70 small. And there are many different kinds of sectors that are identified. Ames Community College was the only college and university institution from that sector. This really is a big deal. I'm kind of playing around with it, but this really is a very big deal. So, trustees, you have your little stress star that shows there that you are a top workplace. And employees, this is like a little teaser because you'll they're coming to you. They're coming to you too. There are many other things. And Dee, do you want to say anything about all these things that I'm supposed to show and tell over here? Do you want to?
I don't really have much more to add, but.
Okay. This is our plaque I'll pass around that will be proudly displayed in the Human Resources office.
Has there ever been another college or university named in this category?
In Colorado, I believe there was, but I don't know, you might have that. Did you hear the question?
I don't have any history on Colorado, but currently there were 13 named across the nation in 2018.
It's still a pretty small club.
It's a very small club,
Yeah.
considering. Yeah.
And is this something that's very competitive? Is there,
I know,
I
Dee,
mean,
you
is
love
ever-
to get up in front of the microphone, but please come up to the microphone.
yeah,
Okay.
And I do want to give credit, even though she likes to pass along the responsibility for speaking. This really was Dee's idea to try. She
Apply,
came to me about
okay.
over a year ago and said, I'd like to see what happens if we get into this, and are you supportive? So, Dee, very good idea. Regardless of outcome, very good idea.
This was really part of an engagement survey that we conducted for all employees. This survey was conducted in November, and as the result of the survey that employees had input on, we were named the top workplace. And so this is a survey that is conducted across the nation. I believe there were 226 organizations, businesses that participated in the survey this year. And so out of those, 150 were selected as a top workplace across the nation.
do you know how many other institutions of
There were 20,
colleges or?
there were 25 universities and colleges that participated.
Okay.
14, including Ames, was named a top workplace
Oh,
Across the country.
across the country.
mhm. I think this is really neat because it says, this is how our employees feel. I mean, there isn't an outside evaluation, but it's an internal thing that says, we're doing good and we like it, and that's great. It's just wonderful.
Right. And so we had to hold the secret of the results for a while, but those will be coming out next week.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
to share with everyone.
And do you want to mention what your future thoughts are about participating?
Sure. We plan to participate again this next year. We hope to look at some of the results and look at what our strengths were and celebrate those, and then what opportunities we have that we can improve on. And so we'll conduct another survey in November again, and then we plan to probably conduct this survey about every 2 years, just to stay on track and see how we're doing.
Super. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the other teaser is you might want to be at the president's reception. If you haven't already RSVP'd to Carrie or Ann, you might want to come, because there'll be other fun things that are handed out then. If not, we'll get them to you later, but that would be a teaser. The other piece that you have in your packet is, and I think, Deb, you may have said this, I'm not sure,
Not the broadcasting.
that Ames has been named #1 best broadcasting college in Colorado. No, see, look at #1 best broadcasting college in Colorado. Woo-hoo. We're gonna need a whole new, where's Mike? Mike,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to build us a whole new building for all these awards we're getting here. So this is fantastic. What you also have in your packet is a summary of the 2017-2018 strategic plan initiative. So this is, wanted to get this to you. So this closes our gap year. Remember, we had that year between strategic plans, and we had some initiatives that we were rolling into this last year that we wanted to finish as we were developing our next strategic plan. So you have those results in your packet with regard to each initiative. So for this past year, we had 22 total initiatives. 13 had been completed at 100%, 6 rolled into the next strategic plan, and 3 we retired, and it gives you that information there. And for those of you in the audience, you can find this on our strategic plan link on our webpage. So you can have that there. Are there any questions about the 2017-2018 results? Completion? No. Okay. So, drum roll, please. Ba-ding.
There it is.
So, literally hot off the press. It came right out of the box right before this meeting. Is the 2018-2023 Strategic Plan magazine. Woohoo! So what I'd like to say, again, to the audience, you'll be getting all of this soon, so don't worry. And to the board, what I would like to suggest is we really have a power pack here, an Ames power pack. So if you you don't have to look, but if you remember your annual report, we got this a bit back, so this last year, and the strategic plan, this is a perfect coupling when you're out in the community talking to folks, and folks say, what's the investment? What is Ames? How does Ames invest in our community? Or if you even want to give presentations or say, this is how Ames invests in its community, this is what we've just done, and this is what we're going to do. And these, we have tons of these, and you can just put these together and hand it right to folks in the community. We will have tons of these. Obviously, our annual report has a 1-year shelf life. We will have it annually. And then this magazine will have a 5-year shelf life. So we will be using these for the next 5 years. I really would like you to take a minute to look at it. Allison, are you here? No, I heard no. Allison, would you please stand? I know, Allison. This is a beautiful piece, and I'm sure you've already thought about this, but for next year's Paragon Awards, I think you might want to submit this. But if you'll take a minute just to take a look, I don't want to go through all of it with you, but I'd like to orient you to what's in it. So if you open it up, first page obviously is sort of an introduction. Some key quotes in here are taken directly from the listening tours that we all had with each other a couple years ago when I first got here, with community members and so forth. So this is taken right from that. You have your contents. If you move to the peak page, which is brilliant, the peak page shows you actually the steps and the process of how we actually came to this whole strategic plan and our journey, or our climb, if you will, over the last couple of years to get to what you see on the far right-hand side, the red flag that says plan, which is this piece. If you turn the page again, you'll see our benchmarks. So these are our core measures that we identified a couple years ago and what our benchmarks are for those. And if you continue on to page 10 and 11, you'll see the purpose, vision, mission that you all crafted for us in January of 2017, and then underneath that, the values that you approved for us and that Dr. Weisgaber and her team spent a whole year working on with the college on creating. And then as you move to page 11, it identifies our strategy statements and their definitions and our objectives. When you move then to page 12, that's all about strategy 1. It gives you objectives and how we define those objectives, and just a couple of examples of our activities or our tactics. We didn't list them all, but we gave a couple of examples. On that note, what I need to tell you is when we pulled everybody's ideas together for tactics and activities, we had 187. And then over the course of a couple months, culling and vetting, we're now down to 62. So that's our 5 years. If you turn the page over to 14-15, that's strategy 2, enhance operational performance. Again, same format. Quotes from listening tour, from folks internal as well. I love this one. From Karen Hankey from Loveland campus. I get to be the spark, not a roadblock. That's great for our students. If you turn the page again, strategy 3, objectives and tactics, and we continue on. And then page 18 and 19 are the values of the college and how we define those. And then we continue on with questions and answers on strategic planning and how we moved forward. And then on the very last page, page 22, you, as Ames Community College Board of Trustees, thank the community for everything that they've done. Thank you for your continued support and commitment to growth. Our partnerships are at the core of what gives us meaning in what we do. It's a beautiful piece. So I want to thank everyone. It has been a lot of work, and it has been a lot of conversations, and I know folks, now I'm speaking to you in the audience, I know you have been waiting a long time, when is this going to be done? And it's done. So this is really something to be very proud of, not only from folks in the audience, but for the board as well, because you are shown right in here and all the work that you've done as well. So I want to thank you for that. And I know I just went through it quickly. I'd like for you to take it and absorb it and think about it, but do you have any initial questions off the top of your head about that strategic plan?
I would just comment that I think this is a very wonderful piece. Very well done and very succinct, to the point, lots of good information. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you really want to see, this is it's about, I would say, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick. This is the whole entire plan, strategies and tactics, who's responsible and so forth. So you probably will not see me without this for the next 5 years. So there we go. Super. Okay, I know there's one other thing I wanted to say. Let me just take a look here. You've got the employees report in your packet as well. And if there are folks, supervisors in the audience who have new employees that they would like to introduce, would you let me know? Yes, please do. And shout it out.
I'm Julie Smith. I'm the director for the TRIO SSS Classic grant. And we're really, really happy to welcome Trish Ravino as our newest academic advisor. She comes to us from our own program. So she was previously the staff associate for both the Classic and the STEM program and successfully applied for the academic advisor position. Just a quick note about Trish. She was an Ames student at the Loveland campus, and she was also a work study there 24 years ago. And never dreamed that she would be now here advising the next generation of students. So welcome, Trish.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, good.
We have a trend to our students having really successful experiences with Ames and then coming to join us full time. So we're really excited to have her.
So, and I am here. And over the moon about 3 times. I'm so excited to introduce Libby Kinsman, who is the new Assistant Vice President for Student Engagement, Inclusion, and Success. Libby comes to us from, Deb won't look at me right now, from workforce area here at Ames, but she also has a really long history and background working in the student affairs arena with TRIO programs, with other advising programs, also Community College of Aurora. So we feel like we're the luckiest folks on earth right now to have Libby join us. So thank you. So, because Sarah decided to take my folks. No more. I actually had the opportunity to do a slight reorganization in academic affairs, and so we took the old community partnerships workforce development unit and has redistributed it just a little bit and created an allied health and wellness division. And Trish Rand was our associate dean of allied health and is now our dean for allied health and wellness. So we are very happy to have her.
Any other supervisors with new employees? Okay, thank you. One last announcement, and this is more for what you'll find in your emails. So at your retreat in June, One of the things that you'll be doing is reviewing your self-assessment results with Dr. Fisher. So you may have seen already that ACCT has sent to your emails today those self-assessments for you to complete. And they would like to have that complete by May 21st. The results, I mean, not the results, the instructions are also in that email that you received. They will then go ahead and process all of that information into a summary and then ship that information over to Dr. Fisher so that she can present it at our retreat. So if you haven't seen it, it really just went out today, but take a look in your emails. You should have it there. And then that concludes my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. B. Next item on the agenda is information items, and do we have any correspondence? No correspondence. How about the board calendar? Members, you have it in your packets. Any additions? No conflicts. No conflicts.
Nope. Again, the only thing we request is if you plan on attending one of these, if you'd let Carrie or Ann know so that if there are 3 or more members, we can post it.
Okay. Okay. Next item, I suggested or tossed out the idea maybe that we could start these meetings at, say, 1:30 rather than 2:30. You notice we're now at 4:30 and we've still got a bit of a schedule ahead of us. And I guess it's sort of up to the board to decide that, but I guess I would like to see some heads nod or something for you guys out there. I mean, is this anything that would cause you a hardship if we would start the meeting at 1:30 rather than 12:30? I mean, that's not, might interfere with lunch, I suppose, but
We're getting some thumbs up. So
it's what?
we're getting some thumbs up.
Some thumbs up? Okay, well.
More thumbs.
I guess,
More thumbs? More thumbs?
I guess if we get any thumbs down, then we'll.
We like thumbs.
So, members, what do you think? Would you rather keep it at 2:30? I don't think we need a motion on this. I mean, we can just decide, or could we move it to, say, 1:30? There's a thumbs up.
I assume that would then push our work sessions up
Yes, it
to
would.
earlier so that,
Right.
Probably will need to figure lunch in.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Everybody
I mean,
likes that.
It's going to advance
Absolutely.
everything
Now we know
by
Ray's
an
real
hour,
objective.
maybe, so.
We're all in it for the free lunch, folks.
Yeah.
If there's food, we're there.
Well, there's no such thing as a free lunch, is there? No,
No.
okay. Okay, then.
It's done.
It's done. Okay, let's
Moving
just
on.
do it from now on at 1:30.
So starting with the August meeting, then
Right,
we'll
yeah, the
start at
next-
1:30 with
Next
the
meeting
morning.
would be starting at 1:30.
Since we already adopted that schedule as a motion, I assume we'll need to
Redo it?
amend that? I mean, we
Motion to
did,
amend it
to
we did
1:30.
adopt the schedule as we do that as a motion.
Right,
Oh,
so we
And
would
vote
have
on
to
it.
change it, yeah.
Oh.
So that won't be on the agenda until August then.
Yeah.
Unless I make a motion now
Yeah, I think it's
to amend,
open.
since this is an
Can we do
agenda
that
item,
on
it is on our
information
agenda.
items?
I move that we amend our schedule for the 2018-2019 academic year to start our board meetings at 1:30 PM.
Is there a second?
What Carol said.
I second that motion.
Okay, thank you. Carol, thanks for the motion. Jean, thanks for the second.
Parliamentarian, what can I say?
I'm not sure this is
It's all right, we'll just-
kosher, but.
If we can't, we'll do it again.
I guess if no one objects. So, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. That motion carries.
Okay, so
And if it's not
August
legal,
meeting,
we'll hear about it.
the August meeting will start at 1:30.
Start at 1:30.
And yes, if it's not legal,
And-
I'll let you know, and we'll do it again.
Yeah.
In August.
And we will continue at 1:30 unless advised differently. Okay, Trustee Ruckel, you have been working on a presentation or possible presentation to the ACCT Leadership Congress in, when is that, December? No.
October, in New York City. And we did, last month, talk about the possibility of submitting a proposal to do a presentation, and you asked me to do that, so after some consultation with the president, we came up with a proposal that we present the process we went through to establish our new purpose, mission, and vision, how we went about that so that other boards could learn from our process, because it was a good one. And it fits under their category of what was partnerships, I think, because we did it in partnership with the president, the board, working with the president, so we put it in that way, and titled, It's All About the Base. About that, B-A-S-E this time.
Right, okay.
You know, you gotta be cutesy about something, so it's all about the base, and this serving as the purpose, mission, and vision serving as the base for the new strategic plan. So that's how we presented it.
Okay, I mean, that sounds, let's give it a shot and see what happens. I think anytime we can do things to show how great we are and expand our audience, I guess, a bit, and wonderful. Let's do it. So, any objection? Everybody okay? Yeah.
No. Full support.
I mean, it's worth a try. Let's see what happens.
So have you submitted that already, Carol?
Yes, I have submitted it, and Ray just signed a letter from the board, or as board president, endorsing it or saying, yes, the board supports it. So I'll attach that tonight, and the application will then be complete. The deadline is Friday.
Yeah, right. Coming up real quick,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But the rest of it is already inputted and submitted.
Okay.
So if we do get approved, obviously we'll put together some sort of PowerPoint presentation, and all of you would be up there
Right,
taking turns, giving some different pieces and parts of it,
Yeah.
including Jane.
And thank you, Carol, very much for taking the lead on this and doing the good work. So, okay, next on the agenda are action items. Mr. Jensen.
Members of the board, I'd like Gina Jones to accompany me. Of the first action item, number 10A, is our presentation of our faculty consultation agreement for 2018 and 19. Gina Jones and I are the corresponding chairmen from each of our representing sides of the campus. Other faculty involved in this are Jim Crandall from Comm Media, Jeff Klein from Welding, Jan Stapleton from Math, and on the administrative team, myself, Dr. Kish, Dean Rob Abernathy, and Dean Jeff Smith. That comprises the two 4-member teams from faculty and administration. The reason for this, each year in accordance with policy 4-705, consultations are held between representatives from the Ames Faculty Association, the AFA, and college administration to address matters related to specific conditions of employment. Included in this year's agreement are items related to salary increases, medical premiums paid by the college, contract days for the 2018-19 academic year, and then revision of policy 4-701 faculty load, and the last topic is selection of the topic to be addressed in the 2019-2020 consultation. We have to get board approval to tackle these issues. And the faculty load, we've actually been working on that for 2 years. It's been, it's been a lengthy process, and a lot of very thoughtful discussions gone into that. And so maybe that's the first topic we'll address here, a little bit of what that policy revision is meaning. And it adds clarity and definition to what constitutes service, professional development, and scholarly activity. The policy outlines guidance for full-time faculty, teaching responsibilities, overload, and reassignment. And policy or procedure -4-701A is the procedures that accompany policy -4-701. And so really, to make it a short story, even though it took a long time to get here, it really is, again, through thoughtful discussion with the faculty, of putting together, putting on paper the process, the procedures that the college has been following, and adding clarity to that so that the deans and the department chairs and the faculty know the expectations and the different issues that they deal with in looking at their load. And so as I look at the fiscal impact, and that's why I've indicated on there that there is no fiscal impact with this policy change, because again, it's documenting exactly what we're doing right now. So I've indicated that there's no fiscal impact because of this policy change. I've also noted in there that of course, the salary increases and the premium increases for medical insurance were already a part of the salary and medical premium presentation that the board has approved in the past. So again, the fiscal impact of that, of both the consultation and the policy change are addressed there. So opening up dialogue on policy 4-701. If there's questions, Gina can add into.
Okay, any questions for?
Basically, the loads are just already defined by other processes that have been in place, am I correct?
Yes.
What does night school involve? Because nothing? No?
That would be part of load.
It'd be
It's
a-
just a part of our, if we teach a night class, it's a part of our load.
Okay. What about night services, nighttime services? I was at a conversation one time at a table, and one of the concerns is if we're going to teach more classes at night, we need to have some sort of kind of break services. Is that part of this?
That is
That's
not part
actually,
of the
it's not part of
consultation.
faculty consultation.
No.
But that, as Dr. Kish had mentioned in her update with regard to evening and weekend task force, they'll be looking at that. They want to see what actually is necessary and needed.
what
But
we need to have.
right now, we're focused just on the faculty load and the consultative agreement.
Okay, I'm good.
And there's mutual understanding and agreement and et cetera within the staff. I mean, everybody's happy.
It's a collaborative statement, isn't it? Pretty much?
Yes, we send this agreement out to faculty for vote.
Okay,
And
okay.
it was agreed upon.
Okay, good.
So the faculty have ratified not only the policy change, but they've also ratified the salary increase, the premium increases for medical insurance, the contract days. Those are the standard items we approve every year in this faculty consultation agreement. And before we move to action on that, I do want to just highlight that the item that we're asking the board's approval to talk next year, and this is a drum roll. It is, what the hell is it? I just had it in my paper.
Faculty planning and evaluation.
Yes, how did I miss that? It's faculty planning and evaluation. It's like really big topic. It's late in the day, I apologize. So yes, so we're kind of doing several things in this approval. We're approving, the salary increases, or that the faculty have ratified, all those other issues. We're approving the policy revision, and we're also then getting your approval to talk about planning and evaluation next year.
So I have to ask, what is this baton you keep?
I was asking.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering
I actually was
too.
going to put it down when I got up here, but
That
I
would be a
was
good
just
idea.
attached to it.
Thank you.
It's It's actually it's a picture. I've gone old school, not having a video of the 20th Street project. So for the board members afterwards, we can show you the nice overhead picture of what that project realignment looks like for the street.
Thank you.
So the recommendation, of course, from the administration is that we recommend approval of the faculty consultation and approval of policy revision 4-701.
Okay, we have a motion for us. Is there a motion to approve it?
I make a motion for approval.
Thank you, Gene. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you, Carol. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion is passed.
Thank you. Thank you, Gene. And just a point of personal privilege on that conversation, my experiences of working with faculty on other campuses, it was such a joy working with the faculty team. We have really good relationships, and I'm just very proud of that. So that's something I'm very excited about. Members of the board, you have before you action item number 10B. This is the approval of the 18-19 budget. As we discussed at the last work session, this is the formal approval of the budget as presented. And you see it's detailed out there by the four different fund types. So the total is $99,387,600, which is the approval that you will be granting for us to operate for the next fiscal year. And of course, the administrative recommendation is to approve the budget, please.
Well, I think we've worked this over quite a bit, so.
So if there's any questions that I can answer prior to your action, I stand here for any questions.
Any question? Okay, there's
Just
a
a
motion.
comment, I'd just like to say I appreciate the process you've gone through in
Yes.
getting us to this point. It's been very clear, concise, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. I accept that thanks on behalf of the whole team.
I'd add to that Chuck took some extra effort to explain everything that was maybe loose-ended for me, and I appreciate that, and I think I have much better understanding.
Okay, is there a motion to approve
So,
action item 10C, I guess?
10B.
10B.
I
So
move
with
we
that-
approve.
10B, oh, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself.
I move we
Okay.
approve the fiscal year 2018-19 budget as presented.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Is there a second?
second it.
Thank you, Lyle. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion is carried.
All right.
Okay.
Got a budget.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Members of the board, you have before you action item number 10C, and this is just a follow-up to what you just approved there. This is to meet the requirements of Colorado Revised Statutes 22-44-103, that the Board of Trustees shall approve an appropriation for each year. So it's just completing that whole circle of the approval, not only on the budget here on campus, but then meeting the state law that requires the board to set an appropriation in the amount of the budget that you just approved. So I'm asking for an approval of an appropriation for $99,387,600. And again, the administrative recommendation is approval of this action item.
Any questions? Motion before you. Is there a motion to approve?
I'd move to approve.
Thank you, Lyle. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mark. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. That motion is carried.
Thank you. That concludes
All
the
right,
action item.
you got through it.
Forward.
Good afternoon. It is my distinct honor to ask for your support for emeritus status for our aviation faculty, Mike Joy. I'd like to ask Mike to just step forward, here he is, and Dean Abernathy to say a few words.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Kish, Madam President, Mr. Chair, may it please the board. I am both pleased and proud to stand before you this day to recommend Professor Michael C. Joy, Aviation Department, for Professor Emeritus status. Professor Joy has unselfishly served with honor and distinction during his 15-year career with Ames Community College. and has been both champion and advocate for his students since day one. He retires at the end of this term, but not before establishing a foundation whereby our students can excel in a demanding program and dynamic industry. A stalwart professional, Professor Joy will leave a legacy of excellence in teaching and learning, whereby his students are taught to think critically and lead by example. Professor Joy epitomizes the whole person concept, where he serves students, the college, the community, and the aerospace industry. He first served as chief flight instructor, being one of only a handful who were both fixed wing and rotary wing qualified, amassing an impressive 13,000 hours along the way. He led Ames' effort in the National Intercollegiate Flying Association flight competitions, thus giving Ames a national recognition. He served as the FAA Airman certification representative, allowing Ames to issue pilot certificates and ratings on behalf of the FAA. As faculty, Professor Joy led the charge in the department, keeping the degree program airborne during our most trying times. He has taught nearly every course within the aviation technology area during his tenure with Ames. Student advisor, committee member, building custodian, there are very few areas in which Professor Joy has not served. He is currently the state chair for aviation for the Colorado Community College system. Professor Joy's meritorious service and outstanding performance are in keeping with the proud traditions of Ames Community College. While his contributions to Ames and our community will have lasting impact, it will be long after we bid him farewell. It is for these reasons, then, that we humbly request your approval to grant Mike Joy Professor Emeritus status with all the honors, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
So at this time, we ask for your approval of Michael Joy's emeritus status.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I move that we
Trustee.
approve emeritus status for Michael Joy, with the added note that you will be missed. Thank you.
I'll second.
Who did it? Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
sorry, I didn't.
Trustee Howard. Okay, there's a motion before you. Is there any discussion? And if there is, I'm going to cut you off. No. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no. That motion is carried. Congratulations.
It's been such a pleasure here working at Ames. I've enjoyed the students, the faculty, the staff, and I've enjoyed aviation.
Mhm.
I'm going to miss this place.
Yeah, well.
We're gonna miss you, Mike.
Okay, next is comments from board members, and then what?
Actually, it's Excellence at Ames, and if you recall,
Okay.
a couple months ago, we were going to do the Learning Cube exercise, and Meg was going to walk us through that, but she was ill, and now she's here. And she had suggested that these Learning Cubes might be a good way to facilitate your end-of-board comments. So, Meg, you might want to tell them a little bit about what these cubes are, and then we can do the end-of-board comments.
Thank you, Dr. B. It's a real pleasure to be here today, and welcome to the Board of Trustees, Cody, the Foundation, guests. So our learning cubes are real appropriate, partly because it is the end of the day and I am going to get you up and moving, which is all about good learning. But they also represent just one tiny piece of what good learner-centered activities are. I mean, we are a learner-centered college, and as faculty coach, I get the privilege of supporting and encouraging faculty to use learner-centered strategies. And many of us have known they've been wise and had good outcomes all along, but the newest brain science really enforces the importance of incorporating many ways for students to touch and talk about and learn and create new learning out of what they meet in every classroom and in every venue. So in learner-centered, what we mean is that it's really about guiding you into learning something new and making new meaning. Not as the sage on the stage, like all the lecturers you probably had, not you, Cody, I hope, as you were working your way through higher ed, but really as a guide on the side or a coach. And the idea is to cultivate in your students some new habits of learning that they can use, whether they're in the classroom or in the new workplace. Critical thinking and all that kind of thing. So today, I'll be using these learning cubes. One of them is really the most important, but and it'll be the easiest for you because we're going to be testing you on the appropriations budget that you just passed. Don't worry, I'm an English major. I wouldn't do very well with that. But what this will allow you to do is take part in physically through movement, touch, sharing. It's called elaboration. It's a fancy word for sharing peer-to-peer, something you learned, or learning something from your peer. And hopefully even getting a little emotional investment because it should be fun. So emotional relevance to learners is very key also in helping that learning be lasting and help them invest in it. So it also needs to be relevant. Now today, of course, you've had a long day, as the chair was pointing out, a good, I don't know how long you've been here, 5 hours or something. So I'm going to ask you to stand up, all of you who can, and I hope that Ann doesn't have to keep typing because none of this will probably be appropriate to put down in print. And I'll have to stay on the mic, I guess, so I'll get you started. And when a teacher uses these, they can use them at the beginning when they launch a new lesson. They can do it middle of a lesson to kind of check and see how everyone's doing. Are you getting it? I'm going to ask you to explain it to somebody. That helps you reinforce whether you know it. You can also use it to wrap up things. All right. So I am going to challenge you with a lesson wrap-up. Rather than the green one that's team building and like, what is your favorite hobby? That's not, we're going to put some of this to work. So I'm going to throw the cube at somebody, gently. And you will catch it, and you can look to find which one you want to address. But for instance, what is the single most important thing you learned in this lesson? And you can relate that to anything you learned about today. Okay? And if you don't like the one on this side, just pick something else, but read it out to us so we know what you're going to answer. Okay? Any questions about how to do this? Then once you've answered it, you throw it to somebody else. But not me. Okay.
This is that hot potato game, isn't it?
Sort of. Hey, so I didn't want to start over there.
Okay. Oh, you got it. Oh, boy. I found it.
She stumped you already?
It says, what else would you like to learn about this topic? And everybody gets to guess. But, wrap up, there is so much information that we receive as a board when we make our decisions. And I don't know if I'm answering this correctly. I think it's multiple choice.
Hey, it's your job.
You're always giving us the best opportunity to learn from that. And obviously I'm kind of pecking at the statute thing. You can see where I'm pecking. And so there's things that I need to learn more about that. I always look at what's going on with other community colleges, helping our district, taxing. Is there another community college? So I need to learn if there is another community college servicing us. If there's not, that's why I'm always pecking at that. So bear with that, and I need to learn a little bit more about that. So it'll help me understand your processes.
Okay. Just
Does that
throw
make
it to
sense?
one of your compadres there.
Good catch. No, good catch.
It was right in between.
Okay, now.
I think I was there.
Don't fight, don't fight. You can share.
You can pick another side. Yeah, you can pick any side that you like.
How does this new learning fit into what you already knew? I come from healthcare, and so I've been really focused on what programs do we provide here that provide a workforce in healthcare, and you do a great job of providing healthcare workers. But I wasn't sure what all other programs we offer because I'm brand new on the board, and I heard about some other programs today that I think are really exciting and provide for the workforce needs in this community, such as carpentry. I heard that mentioned today. So I'm learning new things with every board meeting, all three of them that I've attended. So, okay. Well, I'm going to send it back to you.
Ooh, good catch.
And if we don't catch it, then that means
You get a
we're
do-over.
done.
You get a do-over.
5 yard bound.
You have to answer 2 questions.
Well, I'm going to pick, what is the single most important thing you learned in this lesson and why? It's probably not a single thing, but I guess overall it is a single thing. In light of what's currently going on with Ames Community College, and in fact our guest speaker spoke on it today. Today, watching all the successes celebrated today, and all the great staff we have, and all the great people, and the way we all work together as a team as well as individually to collaborate and come together to make Ames the great place it is. I think that taught me is, because my wife asked me the question, where do you get the courage to make these decisions in light of all the political ramifications that you might come in contact with or receive? And I think it's all of this today that we saw, that I'll speak for myself, that gives me the courage to make these tough decisions and give you all the tools and the resources that you need to become all those successes that you've demonstrated today. So thank you for that. Oh my God.
I'll get it.
Sorry, here, let me throw that again.
My arms are long, but not that long.
Give her warning.
All right, you got that one.
Yes, all right. How will you remember what you learned? I'm a note taker, and I have learned over time that I remember things and learn things by writing them down, by taking notes, so I will rely on what I wrote down and what Ann is producing in minutes, because I really go through those to remind myself of what we did and what we learned. And I think the stories that we hear are things that are easier to remember and more important to remember. So the stories from Scott Ehrlich, the stories we heard from the foundation board, and the story from Cody. So you're next.
And Trustee Ruckel, you hit a lot of high points about good learning. Number one, how are you going to remember it? There has to be a way. It can't just be it's up here. It's like that student who says, "Oh, I know what I want to write, but I can't. I'm not sure yet." So they don't have anything because they don't know what they're going to write. But in sharing that through story, so however way teachers can make it relevant, whether through story or having them tell their own in what they've learned, that is great. Makes great yardage in learning.
What is the single most important thing you learned in this lesson and why? I think for my time here, it's to trust in the process. There's a lot of things that are going on that you might not agree with, but the people working on those processes have been planning on it and been providing that information to all over the campus, and we just really need to trust that there's qualified professionals really dedicating their time and really thinking everything that's going on at this campus, and just trust in the process. I think it's really important.
Thank you. Well, we have a couple more.
Didn't you get it?
No.
What? Why don't you just hand it to me? Okay.
See, got it.
You did.
Overarm.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here.
Should have said whatever your thumb lands on.
I just, how will you remember what you learned? Sort of like Carol, I don't really take a lot of notes, but when I feel like it's really important, I do. make sure. But, you know, what I remember that I want to continue is that there is such a participatory democracy within this institution. I just think that it's just really wonderful how, at least what we're told, is that how house staff, how everybody's involved in some way or another, or at least has the opportunity to do so. And that's the way I think every institution ought to be run. And I just think it's great the way that it is being done here. And therefore, I would say it's not a surprise at all that we were awarded the best place to work for a institution of higher education in the state of Colorado, which is great. You're next.
So the question I'm choosing is, how does this new learning fit in with what you already know? And I'm going to go out on a limb and speak for the entire college employees in saying that it is great validation for all of us who are employees, and wonderful support to know that each one of you as board members are willing to have the courage to make decisions that are not only data informed, but that support what you believe is best for our students, for our institution, and for our programs, and not only make those decisions, but then stand behind them in the face of adversity and in the face of support. You may know that, you may think that you know that that's important for all of us. And it is, but you will not know how important that is for all of us, not only to hear, but also to see. So I would like to thank each one of you for all of the efforts that you have made over the course of the time on the board, but certainly within the last couple months, knowing that you've had some very challenging conversations in the community and have had the courage and the willingness to stand behind your decisions and what is in the best interest of the college. So we, the college, thank you tremendously for your willingness, your courage, your support, and your service on this board.
Easy when you're right. Huh? Easy when you're right.
Yeah, really.
So thank you for
Thank you.
participating. You all sit down.
Okay.
And that concludes my piece.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Those are fun.
Fun?
Yeah.
Fun.
I don't juggle, though. I wish I could.
Okay, members, we're down to the next to the last item, assessment of the board meeting, et cetera. How'd we do? Did we screw up anything? Did anybody feel slighted? What do you think? Anybody want to jump in there?
I think we did great. I think we received all the information. We looked at it. We contemplated what we needed to contemplate. Of course, obviously, we've been briefed on a lot of stuff prior to this meeting, so we're prepared for it and prepared for action, and very proud of the work we did here today.
I'd offer that the same thing as what Lyle has said. The survey that we just did, or we're about to do, I did it this morning, that, you know, to evaluate us as a board. And I'm probably a little biased, but you know, I couldn't find anything on there but what I thought very strongly agree that we're doing a good job. And you know, I'm not ashamed to say that. I just really think that we are, and I hope everybody feels that they get the opportunity to express their ideas, concerns, whatever, and and that they're heard. So I think we did a good job too. Wow. Anybody else?
I did have a couple comments. We kind of didn't do comments from board members, and there are a couple things that couple recognitions that I'd like to add, if I
Okay.
might. The Martin Luther King program at Loveland was mentioned, and I just want to recognize Heather Lelchuk and Clint Heiner. Heather moderated, Clint was one of the panelists, and it was, had 2 out of 3 of the people involved in that from Ames, and the fabulous job they did was, they're just really a credit to the institution, and I want to thank them. And I want to thank the college for the human-to-human program. I think that's one of the best things that we do, and the Holocaust program, if you weren't there, was really something inspiring. Thanks to the whole PERC team for Artie's fun run. That was awesome. And finally, we had a beautiful day for it, and a nice crowd. There's an art show on now of faculty, and I hope you'll have a chance to walk through that before it closes.
I think it's closed.
Yay to the public art, the task force for public art on our campuses. I'm on the Art and Public Places Committee in Fort Lupton, and I know how important that is and how challenging it can be to do that, so I'm really pleased that that's happening at the college. A couple of Fort Lupton notes. The movie night that was referenced at the Fort Lupton campus was really important because we don't have a movie theater in town. So it's either something like Ames doing a movie night. In the summer, we try to do movies in the park, but that's the only opportunity that we have without driving to another county, to Brighton to see a movie. So that was, it's significant in more ways than one to have that happen. And these were awesome. Our mayor thanked me personally for getting this. She was just delighted. So thank you, Julie, or whoever did the delivery. She said it was you, and she was thrilled. So great idea. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. We're down to where we're going to adjourn into executive session. According to Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6-402, paren 4, paren A, where we will discuss real estate. So I will adjourn this portion of the meeting. For those of you who need to go or want to stay, whatever, I don't think there's going to be any business that will be conducted after we come out of the executive session. So we will probably just adjourn the whole meeting then at the end of the executive session. So, okay, we're now adjourned into executive session.
Do we need a motion to do that? We need a motion.
Oh, I guess we do.
Go into, that we adjourn into executive session?
Okay. Second, Mark.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's motion carried.